So in today's episode, I want to talk about something that's a little bit similar to last week's episode, which is kind of etiquette. And in particular, etiquette during transportation. So I agree that there's a need for many different types of etiquette. Sometimes it gets taken a bit too far. An example of this is in the New York metro system, you are generally expected to take your backpack off when you get on a train. This makes sense because you don't want the bulk of your backpack to block people from getting on and off the train, and you don't want to push people into a tighter space than they already are. Where this gets a little bit fuzzy though is when you have basically an empty backpack and they crush down really small. I often travel with a backpack and I tend to have a book in it. And when I take the book out, the backpack pretty much folds right up against me. But I've gotten a look before for not taking my backpack off, even though in my particular case, with my build and with the backpack being so thin, having tested this before, if I take it off and set it on the ground, I actually take up even more space than if I just continue wearing it. So I feel like that it's not always necessary to follow to the letter these unwritten rules. Another example of this is in a car on the highway, right? It's generally considered bad etiquette to cut people off. And when you're getting onto an off-ramp, people especially don't like to have somebody jump in front of the line. Now, statistically speaking, this is actually not necessarily a bad thing for traffic flow, as it gets more cars off the highway faster. However, it is kind of considered inappropriate and rude, right? This is much in the same way on the trains, again, where you've got people going on the train at the same time as people getting off. Like, they literally don't wait for people to fully get off the train, they just start getting on. And again, it's kind of rude, but also it does make the amount of time that the train has to sit in the station a little bit less. I don't personally do that though. There's etiquette on the plane, right? So when you're getting off the plane, it's generally considered rude to stand up and grab your luggage from the overhead compartment before the people in front of you have even stood up, right? So if they haven't even gotten up yet and their luggage is actually where you are, they have to get to you. But if you took your luggage down already, then they're kind of stepping all weird over your luggage. But when it gets taken too far though is when you stand up and somebody just looks at you like, I know you're gonna do that. Even if you aren't, you're just standing up. Maybe you don't even have any luggage in an overhead compartment and you're just standing up to finally stretch your legs and be ready to get off the plane. I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing here. What etiquettes do you hate that people try to force on you when it comes to transportation? And what ones do you get infuriated by when people break them and it's just such an obvious thing? Like, why would you do that? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week.